Good morning, Kingsway. It is Sunday morning on June the 18th, and I want to welcome you to the online part of our service. It's the third Sunday of the month, and that means it's our Connect Sunday. Our aim on these Connect Sundays once a month is to encourage one another and build each other up. That's found in 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 11. So in the church auditorium today, right now it's empty because I'm recording this a little bit early, but in the church auditorium today, we have tables, and there are going to be people gathered around all the tables around the whole room so that we can have a discussion with one another face to face in small groups. My hope is that one day you will join us. You'll be here on a third Sunday of the month, and we can have face-to-face discussion with each other and encourage one another and build one another up, and it'd be live and in person. So if you can, I know some of you are all over the world and you can't come to Burnaby, British Columbia, Canada, but if you're local, join us. Come join us. I encourage you. Come see us. If you're wearing masks, that's fine. We're happy to receive you. We'd love for you to be with us. In the month of June, we've been reading through the book of Proverbs. I hope you've been following along. And today in the church building, we'll be looking at the first 10 verses of Proverbs chapter 3. We're going to be doing a bit of a Bible study around the tables. And I would encourage you to read Proverbs 3, 1 to 10. Maybe pause the live stream right now and read Proverbs chapter 3, 1 to 10, and then ask yourself some questions about the text. And hopefully there's some people around you. Maybe there's a few people around you can talk to or go through this with and ask some questions of each other and have some discussion, have some connection time on your own where you're at. These are some of the questions we're going to ask around the tables on a little later on. It's going to be, first question is what instructions or benefits can you identify in the passage that you just read? There's many there, and I'm sure there's some things you can pull out. So what instructions can you identify? Another question would be, have your ideas of how to keep God's commands and his teachings, how to personally keep them, has that changed for you over your lifetime? In what ways have keeping the commands of God changed for you? Some people, it was a very restrictive thing in their lives. Maybe it's become loose, or vice versa for you. But talk about how keeping God's commands may have changed in your life. Maybe you're doing better at that, or you're just understanding the concept. Another question for you to ask about the passage is, how do you know that God is trustworthy? Because in one of those verses it says, trust him. Trust him. Don't lean on your own understanding, but trust God. Maybe discuss some thoughts about his trustworthiness with someone there with you today. Another question, what is the practical outcome of submitting to the Lord? Like we see in verse 6, it talks about submit to the Lord. What does that mean? What is the outcome of me submitting my life? And what does submitting mean? And what good could come of that when I submit to God? Another question is, how can a person honor the Lord with their wealth, with what they've been given? That's from verse 9 that you'll read. What are the first fruits? It talks about first fruits there. What does that mean? So those are some questions that you can ask and you can ponder either on your own or with some people who are near you, with one or two other people. That would be great. I wish you were here with us discussing Proverbs chapter 3 in person, but feel free to read those first 10 verses of chapter 3 and then to ponder how you would answer some of those questions. Or maybe watch for other questions that come up. Maybe there's some of those verses will prompt something else in your mind and in your heart that God is speaking to you. Be open to that. I pray a blessing on you. God bless you today in the grace of Christ. And remember that you are deeply loved. See you next week.